missing two councilmen that are out of town tonight, George James and Chris Carlisle. But most importantly, we have a new councilman, Zach Terrell, who has been appointed to fill out the term after his father's resignation. So welcome to the council, Zach, and we'll try not to throw too much at you at the first meeting.
I appreciate it.
Okay, everyone should have a copy of last month's minutes. Hope you've had a chance to look them over. If you see any need for any additions or corrections, let me know. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion that we approve last month's minutes.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, the minutes are approved. Okay, under old business, this is kind of old new business. I don't want, we have to do a resolution on the meeting that we had at 6 o'clock. And there's no reason for us to hold that till the last minute and make Jenny stay an extra 30 or 40 minutes while we're finishing our meeting. This is a resolution that authorizes the submittal of an owner-occupied rehabilitation grant application to the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs addressing related matters. Not only will we be turning in an application, we are also resolving that we will follow all the rules and guidelines that go with this grant. I know the council heard the presentation. Unless there are any additional questions, I would entertain a motion that we approve this resolution for application.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution for the rehab paperwork as stated.
Do you have a second?
I second that motion.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, opposed? All right, the motion passes, and we can go ahead and quickly sign this, and then Jenny will be able to head back to Lagodi.
By detour.
By detour, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, US 60, they have barricades blocking it. I don't know if they're doing pavement or something.
Pardon? Somebody said they were getting ready to pay the portion of it. Not that bad. Well, thank you for coming. You're welcome.
Mark it up with Zach over there.
Yeah, just mark it up. Your business, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have you sign. Thank you very much. Welcome. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you all.
All right, we will move on to, old business. This is just a quick date on the columbarium where we are. We are preparing to pour concrete pad for the columbarium itself and spaces to park 4 vehicles. The location of the columbarium will be east of 14th Street in the southern corner of the cemetery property. Currently, there are no structures in this section of the cemetery, and it will be reserved strictly for the use of columbariums only. Any questions in regard to that?
We did, had the old Caretakers Foundation pulled up, just, demolished, and then they'll fill that in with dirt, so it, grass, to dress that corner up.
So it's gonna be right on the corner? I thought it was gonna be in the middle of that.
It'll be it won't be in the middle, because if it was square in the middle, we'd have to cut some trees down. We wanna keep the trees as long as we can.
Yeah.
So, it will be to the south.
Okay.
All right, a quick update on the Heidelberg Carbon Capture Project. I'm sure you're all aware that is an enormous project. That's actually gonna cost more than the brand new plant did if it comes to fruition. There's 4 major steps. Step 1 was, if you remember, out in the county, there were all these little red stakes out there, and that was a seismic test to see if the ground, the stone structure underneath the earth was appropriate to be used for carbon capture, and it passed that first test. But the real test is drawing a test well to see what's down there. Heidelberg will set up and begin to drill the test well for this project sometime in November. When they start drilling, they'll drill for 40 days straight, 24/7. They'll take core samples as they go at the various depths to determine if the different layers of rock formation are suitable for carbon capture. The well will be drilled to approximately a depth of 7,500 feet. If the results are confirmed that the rock formations pass geology requirements, the project will proceed. If for some reason they do not, then the project will stop at that point, and that will be the end of the entire project.
So what it is what is that gonna do to any water in the ground?
Water table is anywhere from 87 feet to 110, 120 feet. This will be so far below water table, it will have no effect on it. Because, just think about it this way. Somebody sinks an oil well. It goes down so far and they pump oil out. Well, they're pumping it out of rock and sediment and the different geological formations. This is gonna be the same thing, only in reverse. Only they're gonna go deeper. And the CO2 is gonna be in a liquid form. And the pressure of the earth above it will keep it in a liquid form. So it will go from a gas to a liquid.
What's that
When they
gonna cost?
get past this next step, the testing, and they know it's a go, they will have some public hearings, they will have a lot more information, so you'll understand the rest of the process, so that we'll all understand the rest of the process. I do know that, if it proceeds, I'll call it a containment vessel that puts this gas under pressure. If you know where the kilns are, the old kilns out at Lehigh now, they will tear all them down, and that's where this building will be built, and it will be rather large. It will compress the CO2, turn it into a liquid, and then they'll run it by pipeline over to the wells where it goes down into the earth. And they own about roughly 3,000 acres, so they have a lot of property to work with.
So what you're saying is, those smokestacks, as I call them, are gonna come down if this gets done.
No, the smokestack, the one big smokestack in the back possibly might, since that's part of the old plant. Now that I don't know for sure.
But that new great big one,
Oh no, all the new stuff, that's the new cement processing plant, that'll stay there.
so that's not going to take care of the pollution that comes out of those ones.
Well, most of the pollution comes out of the big stack, and that's where they're gonna capture most of it, the carbon, the CO2 itself. But like I said, they're gonna have a lot more public hearings and meetings, because this is a big project. There are other projects like it that they're doing. They've got one in Norway that's almost done. They've got one in Canada that's much further along than our project. And they'll use some of what they learn on those projects for this one, but they won't go past all that money, if you remember, that the Department of Energy gave them, this 500 million.
Mm-hmm.
They won't get any of that until after the test well says it's okay. That's when that money kicks in to help build the carbon capture plant itself. In other words, until there's a benefit to the environment,
Mhm.
to the cutting down pollution, they don't get the money. Right now, they're operating mostly with their own money to do this.
The total cost be, if it goes through, about $1.2 million project total. And, they don't look at any piping outside the plant. Of course, this being new, they're hoping they'll find some ways to use the carbon. And they talked about if somebody was interested, if they might, work with them to set up a lab inside the plant property and not outside of it. So, that's just kind of a wish list there.
So do we know where they're gonna be doing this drilling? Where that carbon, once it's turned into liquid, is going to go, where those holes are gonna be? Is it gonna be like where the plant is now, or out in some of the other places?
It'll be on the other side of Mill Creek Road, that's where they own most of their property, that's where they got their quarries.
Yes, where the
So
quarries
it
are,
will be way out there,
out in that.
out in the,
It will be where all that carbon stuff's gonna go in the
That's
ground.
that's the test drill, but now, if it works out, like Donnie said, if it works the way they hope it will and plan to, that it would be where the old kills and the old plant was. They'll clear that out and put the capturing at that location.
any further questions on that for the moment? Like I said, there'll be so much more information coming if this test well is successful. If it's not, the project's over.
And then they eat the money that it costs them to do the testing.
Yeah, that's just R&D. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. Okay, under new business, storage building, construction at City Pool. The old dilapidated storage building at the City Pool was demolished and will be replaced with a new 16x16 garage type structure with a concrete floor and a garage door. This will make it easier to keep all of the lounge chairs, all of the umbrellas, all of the equipment inside, whereas now a lot of it has been sitting outside all winter and it is not good for it. And the old building that was there just sat on wooden runners. It didn't even have a floor in it, just a dirt floor. Matt Olson's high school construction class did the demolition of the old building, and they will do the construction of the new building. The city will buy the materials, the construction class students will do all the work as a class project, therefore there'll be no cost to the city for any of the labor. They're doing it for their class. This project's a win-win for the city and our school system, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to work together with our
Yeah.
youth.
Will they do this, the class will do the cement that it's gonna sit on too?
They will do everything but the concrete. Matt said, if you could wait 2 more years, he said, I plan to have a concrete class as well. But he said, we're not that far along. He
Oh,
said,
okay,
right
so we
now,
have to
we
find
will-
somebody to do the concrete.
And I have talked to a concrete contractor, and he's told me, he said, if this is a city project and a high school project, and it's for the good of the kids, he said, if you'll buy the concrete, I'll do all the labor for free.
Well, that's a good deal.
So,
Okay.
I consider that a pretty good deal for us.
Are they interested in doing a playground?
No, this is all, this is.
No, playground would be another project they could do, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it?
It may come to that, we can always try when we get there.
Yeah.
Any questions on that? Okay, the next on the new business was golf cart and off-road vehicle ordinance review. I would ask the council to take their, ordinance books and study the current rules that we have in place. Chief Lebowski wanted to be here and bring up his concerns, but he's been sick for the last 2 days. So we will put that on the agenda for December, but in the meantime,
Study.
it would be good for the council to study what are the current rules. I know one of the big things that the chief was concerned about was underage drivers.
Yes, and there's a lot of them.
He stopped somebody early in the week that was 12 years old,
Mhm.
driving a golf cart, and that's, well, it's just dangerous. And, we haven't been real strict on this ordinance, but he wants to try to be a little more, pay a little more
Self-conscious.
attention, give it a little more emphasis. And that's, he wanted to bring that to the council, but I think if we take the first step and study the current ordinance, then the council can see maybe where we need to make some changes.
Cause some of those young kids, they don't pay attention on Warren, 7th Street, they just go right through the stop signs.
Well, that's another point of attention, is if you're gonna operate a golf cart or any of these machines, you got to obey the rules of the road. You gotta stop the stop signs, and if you don't have turn signal, you gotta use hand signals. You
Cars
have to
don't
have
stop
brakes,
at.
you have to have a rear view mirror, you have to have the slow moving vehicle sign or the big red flag, those kind of
Or
things
those
will,
diamond deals on the
they
back.
will probably be, let's say, more strictly enforced than they
I
have
think
been in
that's
the
good.
past. Any questions there besides homework?
John Paul, we talked about that, and he brought up too, you know, with, the underage drivers like that, you know, if people, their kids have an accident or something, expect their home owners to take care of that insurance. And there's probably a real good chance that they're gonna balk on it, you know, which parents, you know, if I was a chance of getting, had to pay all the damages and stuff, I'd be like, put a tight rein on the kids. But, that's one thing, I'm sure there's others too, but John Paul brought that up.
All right, if there's not any other concerns, I guess we're ready for public comments.
Want me to answer that to you?
If you want to, Mary Ann, I appreciate it.
I'm there closer than you are.
All right, of course you brought it to me, you're first on the list.
Well, you answered my thing about the semis, that you're gonna talk to him, and, now, how soon do you have to call to get on the leaf list? The reason why I'm asking, cause I live right across from Chastain's, and they can't pick up my leaves if I put them out front, if he has something going on. Cause they have to come in with that big truck and suck them up. So, who would I call once I get them out there? If I know they're not gonna be there, cause otherwise it has to be, I can't do it until after 2 in the afternoon.
Well, that's a little bit different than like the big trash pickup, because I will admit, I don't know which part of town that they start in.
I don't think,
It's not like the trash where there's, we're gonna
Right.
do this day, we're gonna do this quarter of town, this day, we're gonna do that quarter of town. I will talk to Gerald,
but they come down my street to go to the garage.
right,
With all the
and see if he wants to maybe do that, put it by the day, or try to do half the town one day and half town the other day, so that people know what day they're coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes depends on if people's got them down, they
Right.
just travel the streets.
They
and
do
see.
kinda just drive
Yeah,
around.
drive
now.
around.
Because some, you know, some people.
But mine is, you know, I have great respect for Albert and his business. And I don't want it sitting out there 2 or 3 days. And I won't put it out when he's got a viewing or a funeral going on,
Right.
because that's disrespectful to those people.
Well, I will tell you this, he does not play favorites with the mayor, Cause I had mine raked out there
And he didn't come
Sunday,
and get
and
it.
he didn't come get it, so, don't feel bad. But I'll ask him if he has a set.
I bet if Albert called him, it would get done.
He better get it done. Okay, any other?
No, I'm glad that you guys doing that checking in. I'm glad that it was answered about those golf carts, cause I have seen a lot of young kids. And they're traveling way too fast in those golf carts.
They flipped one over, Heartbreak Hotel, you know where that is?
The old hotel.
They flipped it over. They were all okay.
They get to cowboying a little bit, thinking that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I've got, Sally Miller from the park board down. I think she has some items that she wants to bring to our attention.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Parks Board, just here to let you know about our, second annual Christmas in downtown Mitchell. Last year was our first event, and it was just the Parks Board as well as Donna, Bell, and friends. This year we were approached by, several other entities, including the Chamber, Tourism, as well as our food truck friends and Maddie Lee, and Hoosier Uplands to, grow that, and that's kind of what we intended to do. We didn't know it was gonna happen this quickly, but, you'll see in your outlines just some things going on. I wanted you to get this on your calendar. I know several of you weren't able to attend, but I feel like the city council members can represent yourselves and the city. If you're there, that'd be awesome. It's our tree lighting as well as Cookies with Santa, and we're partnering with the Grissom Boyhood Home as well as 5A to Sci, like I said, Hoosier Uplands and the Opera House. There'll be a vendor fair downtown as well as food trucks, and we'll even have a parade after our tree lighting in Friendship Park. That's
And
just
what's the date?
that is December 14th, it's a Saturday. A lot of stuff going on anywhere from 11 up to our tree lighting at 6, and then following that will be the parade. It's only a quarter of a mile long, on the main street area, and we'll, first year for that, so we'll see what it entails, but it's not gonna be anything like obviously our Persimmon Festival. But, volunteers are needed, and you can follow us on our Facebook page. We have a whole page dedicated to Christmas in downtown Mitchell. Does anybody have any questions?
I like playing.
Okay, so you'll be there, ma'am?
I was last year.
You were there, yes.
Yes, I was.
I know it.
I was on time too.
As opposed to some others that weren't on time, or just,
I
or
was
you
on
just,
time at that meeting.
at that meeting, okay, all right, good. Well, we'll expect you to be a little early next time. You've set our expectations high, so. Do you guys have any questions for me? Mayor had intended to put this on the December meeting, but I just really wanted to get on all of your calendars, cause, you know, we'd be the same without you, so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sally. All right, Tammy, you're up.
Touched on it a couple months ago, cats, dogs.
Oh, that's a 4-letter word.
Yep, it is. Yes,
Um,
cause I'm thinking, you know, I like animals. But not people feeding them where they shouldn't be fed, having, like, the neighbors that, I just had a neighbor move in, they have a cat, it's black and white. They're feeding it on their porch, they're letting it sleep on their porch, obviously the cat come onto my porch, that ain't gonna fly. It upsets my cats, which I paid to have inside my house, dearly. I had to pay a $525 non-refundable pet fee. Only for somebody to have a cat outside that's disrupting my cats.
Well, to the best of my ability, I'll tell you where we are. We are, of course, we have a contract with White River Humane Society. They have been full most of this last half of the year. And they have twice called us and said they will not take anything. Cat, dog, doesn't matter, because they are full, even though we have a contract with them, as does the city of Bedford, as does Lawrence County. So we have kinda held off. We're looking at a couple options for next year. One is they have another contract available, but it is almost 3 times what we're paying now. It will be very restrictive. They won't take feral cats, period. They won't take pit bulls, period. They won't take police hold dogs, period.
They won't take what?
Police hold dogs. That would be, you had 3 dogs and we arrested you for something and took you to jail, your dogs have to be cared for.
Okay, gotcha.
That's a police hold dog. If a dog or cat has bit someone, they won't take that either. And even down in the fine print, it still says they still have the right to refuse any animal that's brought up. And yet they want us to sign a contract with this huge dollar amount. Well, what we're thinking is we're going to, this is what Bedford's thinking, it's what the county's thinking. Of course, it's easy for the county, because before White River Humane Society, the county was where the animals were taken. So they've already got the facility, it needs a little repair, but they have a facility. Bedford is thinking about a facility. We are too, but it would be a limited facility, in the sense that we would not, unless let's say a dog is running loose. If that dog is causing a problem, we'll pick it up.
We're just running loose, no.
Just because it got away from its owner,
Yeah.
we're not gonna immediately go grab it. Now, if it's 2 or 3 days and it's still out there running, we're gonna go get it.
Yeah.
We'll take it to our own small pound. If it's got a collar, we'll wait and see if someone comes to claim it. And then our option, and that would be true with cats as well. Then our option is we can take the animals to the White River Humane Society. But if you show up at the society without a contract, it's $380 per animal. Which you can tell, that's pretty staggering.
Yeah,
Based on the contract we had last year, that means we could take 22 animals. And I think you know as well as I do, before the end of March, if not sooner,
we have that.
we already will be done with our 22 animals. So at this point, we're going to be cautious about picking up animals. It will be a case of where they're clearly running loose for several days, or they're causing trouble. Some of us, as Mitchell citizens, are very guilty of feeding
Oh, yes.
cats. And there are some places where there are quite large numbers of cats because people put the food out. The one other thing that can be done, and we may allocate some of our money, and that is what's called catch, neuter, or spay and release. You take the cat to a vet, they take care of that neutering or spaying, clip their ear so that everybody knows that cat has been fixed. You take them back where you found them, eventually the population stabilizes
That's right.
and goes down. That's kind of a longer term solution, but it's one of those solutions we're looking at. I mean, we know that we have to come up with some kind of a plan by January the 1st.
Is there not a city ordinance already in place that said if you feed feral animals, they're considered your property?
If there is, I have not come across it. I mean, if it's in there, I haven't found it yet. The only things I'm finding are, I'll give you for instance, of course, Mitchell's not alone. You would not believe the email trail I see every community is fighting this. A lot of communities restrict how many pets you can have. They'll
That would
say
be
you
great.
can have 2 dogs, or you can have 2 cats, some say 3 dogs, but the numbers are very low compared to some of the residents that we have. We have some residents that have well past double figure animals. And that's another option, which I would just mention that the council needs to have that on their mind, that we might restrict the number of pets you're allowed to have.
Yeah. Well, if we had some of feral cats fixed, especially start out with the male ones, because, there's a yellow male one on my block that get all the females, and there's 3 or 4 litters from each one of the females every year, with 3 or more kittens all the time.
Well, that's certainly, like I said, that is a consideration to be part of the solution. I will be getting with our local vet and just see if there's a possibility of getting a discount to help us out, because I think right now, if I remember right, I've got a cat at home, but we had it fixed, and I think it was $75. And there are organizations that will one day a month come into your area, but then that means you've got to collect the cats that one day of the month, which isn't easy.
No.
And they will do it for like half of that. So, once again, we have so many dollars. What we have budgeted this coming year, our contract was $8,000 last year. We've gone ahead and budgeted 20, because we know we're gonna have to pay more no matter what we do. Whether we build our own pound, whether we take animals at $380 a piece, whether we catch, neuter, and release, all of that is gonna cost considerably more than $8,000.
Well, is there anything we can do, like, okay, these people have cats, and then they let their cats have kittens, and then on Facebook they got, I got 3 or 4 kittens, anybody wants kittens? Well, people, why didn't you fix the animal, and there won't be all those kittens? If it's your animal, fix it. If you're low income, there's a place out of,
You go on Monday.
Bloomington, that you
on.
can get, you can get a certificate from, and it's $25.
You go
Get spayed or
online.
neutered.
Yeah, go online on Monday mornings to SNAP, Spay Neuter Assistance Program,
Yeah.
$25 for low income for a cat, dog, no matter what.
And it doesn't matter if it's spayed or neutered.
See, can I add, not everybody who feeds cats is doing something wrong. We feed, on my block, we feed the cats to make them tame enough so that we can catch them. We've done about 20 in the last couple of years.
You got fixed.
Yes, we take them to Pets Alive, we take them 2 at a time, and they have to each one be in their own cage, so we have 2 cages, and so we do pretty much, well, this last year, we've done about 20. And that's, and then once they're fixed, yes,
But they still have to eat too, so.
yes, we end up, but here's the thing, is that with cats, this business of leashing cats is, I'm giving my opinion now, is so silly to me, because cats do us a service. Those cats would not be hanging around here if there wasn't food for them, and I don't mean people putting out cat food.
Mice,
We have
yeah.
mice, they keep the mice and rodent problem under control, so they do us a service. But I realize the spaying and neutering part, we do that, and we're in the process of doing all the cats that we can catch.
Well, certainly appreciate it, because that can be part of the,
Well, I'm
that is
seeing
part of
that
the
as a
solution.
solution, and I'm not expecting the city to do that, we do that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we live there, and so the cats do us a service by taking care of mice, and, well, not just mice, the insects. You know, they used to have these big wood roaches, you know, in my yard, and they take care of that too, so. Now, I'm more concerned about possums and skunks and raccoons.
The
We're
skunks
giving-
right now.
This was their land before it was ours.
We will still catch those, and
Take them and release them.
we will, we will probably take those out in the country. And
Yeah,
you know, I was kidding the commissioners, I said, well, we can take care of our problem, we'll just drive them out there in your neighborhood. And maybe they won't find their way home. They didn't
Yeah.
think that was very funny.
Yeah, but a cat, cats will find their way back, cause I used to own cats.
But as I said, we have several options, and we're gonna try to come up with some solutions, probably a little bit of each.
But I like her that the neighbors did that, I'm gonna talk to some neighbors.
yeah. That's a lot of information, that's for sure.
All right, anything else for the good of the order?
So when's the next meeting, December what?
Uh,
Since we didn't get a deal.
It's on the bottom, December
December
2nd. December 2nd.
Okay, we didn't get a sheet, that's why I'm asking.
Sorry, they're up here, I didn't get them pushed out there because of the other meeting. So December 2nd, at 7 o'clock. And by then, we'll have that,
You'll have that
I'll
clock
get
fixed?
that clock fixed.
Well, just get some stilts and you can get up there.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you for being here.
Which side of town do you live
We made it.
We made it up.
How you doing?
All right.
First meeting.
We'll do.
Oh.
See, I want, I That looks like a dog.
It sits over here, it's off a long tree.
Oh, yeah.
Just sit there.
Well, I got one, I'm
giving you the dog.
around, and about that
Thank
tall
you.
and standing up.
Thank you.
Even though it's a drug.
So do I get an employee, like an employee of the year?
When do you think they might get on that way and try to fix it?
Do I have to buy you dinner since you said
I mean, I
that?
just curious.
What we gonna do from